we turn our attention here to the top 10 risers. And this is exciting because the first guy on the list from Nick, Jaylen Tolbert, the easiest player to put on the list, he says, taking full advantage of the extra reps with CeeDee Lamb being out. Dak said Tolbert was the pass catcher he spent the most time with in the offseason. And he says the chemistry and connection is you can see it on the practice field in Oxnard, California. I mean, put some numbers on it. Is this 400-yard impressive? Is this 750? Is he going to challenge for 1,000 yards? How impressive has Jaylen Tolbert been, gentlemen?
I mean, I was impressed with what we saw with him out there. Now, Brian, I don't know if that's continued, if his production has continued to improve out there, but
yeah.
Man, I mean, the 1v1 against the corner drills, he was making life very difficult for everybody. I thought he made plays during 11-on-11. I mean, there was a sequence when they were going in team where I believe it was Dak went to him back-to-back times. He ran a great out-breaking route, was able to create separation by about 2 different yards. So that's the big thing for me. Like, the confidence looks so much better night and day for Jaylen Tolbert, but his ability now when it comes to the route running, but be able to create separation against whether it's been Deron Bland or Nashawn Wright or whomever was out there. Now we'll get to see him maybe against Diggs as practice moves on. But, yeah, I do think this is not hype. I think the Jaylen Tolbert improvement is very real. We've seen it with our own eyes.
Yeah, this is a player that I thought didn't have the mental toughness. And I think he got really irritated with hearing us all talk about him last year. And that, hey, he was selected very high. Why is he not responding? Why is he, doing this? Why is he doing that? I think he took that to task. And I questioned, like I say, his mental toughness, but he's shown that every practice. He's, for a wide receiver, his uniform gets dirty. And, when he practices, it's full on. A lot of running. They like to talk about the GPS numbers. I'm going to say his numbers are really, really high. But he's done a great job, like Zach said. He's separated. He's become reliable. And he has answered the questions whether he was mentally tough enough to carry this through and stack, as they say, good days on good days.
Last year you had 418 yards out of Michael Gallup, and you had just under 700 yards for Brandon Cooks. Cooks was your third leading receiver, and Gallup was your fourth. Mm-hmm. So I think somewhere in that neighborhood is absolutely realistic. If you put it at 500, after what I've seen, I think I would probably be willing to take the over on Tolbert, over 500
I would
yards.
take the over on that,
Yeah.
too. I would.
Maybe.
He's actually playing better than Brooks, and Brooks is not playing bad. And it was a competition, and when they started these practices, it was kind of even. And right now, I would say that Tolbert's ahead in the game.
Looks like I want to find a futures bet there on Tolbert. By the way, I did find the USA women's water polo team making a substitution, and I got to tell you, a borderline uncomfortable amount of cheek being shown by these gals in these uniforms.
Oh. So is it like a swimsuit?
Beach volleyball-esque?
Well,
like
yes.
Like a thong bikini?
Yes, it's like an Olympic swimming
pieces, aren't they,
swimsuit,
though?
but it's cut for, I think, the cheek to mostly be out. It must be a performance thing. And
Yeah, it's the high hipped, I'm sure.
You can move faster
so their
in the
legs
water.
can
this
rotate.
isn't funny. Yeah, I mean, if my daughter was out there, I'd be like, "Oh, can we get the camera off her, please?" Jeez, it's like
That's stupid, guys.
it's half the
That's
birthday suit.
stupid.
I don't know if I'm offended or intrigued.
No, you said you was uncomfortable.
Yeah, I am. I'm a little uncomfortable here.
Borderline.
These are our amateur athletes here. Let's have a little bit of respect for women. Okay, Tyron Billy Johnson is number 2, another receiver that's been an active playmaker in Oxnard. Billy Johnson, consistent, both his speed and his route running through his first handful of practices. What do you think? Is this a guy that's going to stick and be a real integral part of the offense, or a guy that is in his last days of being?
I think
getting
he's
name
slowed
recognition?
down. I think he's slowed down a little bit here. And so, the first initial part of practice, the week that we were all together here, he was making plays. And now it's a little bit more where you notice, like I say, you notice Cropper a little more. You notice Flournoy, who just started practicing, like, okay, there's that big body guy catching the ball. I think that Billy Johnson's going to be up against it a little. He's going to have to kind of revert back to some of the things that got him noticed in the first place. But and then with these practice coming up against the Rams, how can he win? Can he win some one-on-one battles there? And then these preseason games, because I think his back's against the wall a little bit. He's shown up at times, but it's not as prevalent as we once saw it here several days ago.
Okay, a couple other guys here. You got Brock Hoffman. You just talked about him in Krusty's corner. Kayden Carson, what is he, the 5th-round corner out of Wake Forest? Could this be like the next day 3 defensive back that really is a big part of the futures for the Cowboys defense?
Yeah,
He's awesome.
absolutely. Yeah, he's a good player, and he's very competitive. And that's the thing that he doesn't back down from anything, and they like throwing him out there. They went with the ones, and they've been using since Diggs hasn't been playing, they've been using Nahshon Wright as the starter, and then some others have been kind of filling in. But the first guy that goes in there would be Carson. And then behind him, which has been interesting, is Josh DeBerry, who was from Texas A&M. He started his career at Boston College and finished up with an NIL deal at Texas A&M, kind of played safety, but they're putting him in some stuff now, number 38. So they're trying to kind of find some spots for some of these down-the-line corners, but Carson's the one guy that's shown up. Yeah, most practices, he's finding ways to make plays.
Up next to talk about the guy I'm most looking forward to seeing how it goes in the preseason is Maris Leal, the rookie linebacker. A lot of guys have had good camps, but Leal, a guy worth recognizing, according to Nick Harris. Do you think he could be a rookie starter or a breakout player, or are we just hoping to get him some experience here in year 1, Brian?
He's playing as the base. He's playing in the base when they go to just regular personnel. And, that's kind of where they're giving him a little bit of a start. But he's super smart. He's got great instincts. He rallies to the ball. He had a chance to get an interception today and missed out on that. It just kind of went off his hands. But he seems to always be in the right place at the right time. He plays downhill for a linebacker. I know Eric had some concerns about the tackling. I think we all do. But what we've seen so far, haven't taken guys to the ground, but he's in position to make a lot of different plays. And so hopefully he can do that when he gets the opportunity in these preseason games.
Marshawn Nealon, last guy for us to talk about here, Brian. Has he slowed down at all, the rookie second-round defensive end?
Yeah, they're going to really rely on him. He might end up being the starter when this is all said and done. He's playing as the right end and still working on the pass rush moves. The run stuff has been good, but they need to get him a little bit better. He's got the ability, I believe now, from what I've seen from the practices, to get to the edge. Got to do a little bit better job of getting around these blockers and not letting him get slowed down that way.
With Zim and the way that he's been able to blitz, and he's showing a variety of different looks, and the way he's moving Micah Parsons, would you almost say, hey, our big issue has been being able to set the edge against the run? If I've got Nealon on one side and I've got Lawrence on the other, I feel I've got two guys that have really upgraded that, and now I've got a linebacker room that is so much better than it was a year ago. Would you sacrifice pass rush to now know, okay, I can set the edge much better in the run game?
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. They've got to be better on the edge. The right edge was not very good last year. The Diggs didn't always want to play in the run defense, and then sometimes they lost out at safeties playing in the alley. So they had some problems over there. It just wasn't the defensive tackles. That's what I was worried about Sam Williams.
Yeah.
I was worried about Sam Williams being a guy that would set the edge, because the one thing Sam Williams wants to do is get up the field, and now the ball's going inside of him. So I think you've got, with Nealon, you got a little bit more of a disciplined player over there.
Yes, sir. It sounds like stopping the run better than last year, and I think that would be a big win. For way too long, that the Cowboys have been so exploitable from a team determined to run the ball, even with just a little creativity.
Yeah. I mean, right now you're still hopeful that the defensive tackles can get the job done, because you can only be so good at stopping the run if you just have nothing there in the interior of the defensive line.
Doubt.
But I am already convinced, based on scheme and linebacker personnel, this is and what you just mentioned with the edge setting of Tank and Nealon, as opposed to what you had where you're running out Sam Williams last year, or Fowler, or whoever. Armstrong, guys who just don't have that same type of edge-setting ability. I already feel 100% confident you're going to be a better run-stuffing team. It's just, are you going to be still bottom third? Can you get to middle of the pack? And if you get a Mozzie Smith situation where the light bulb comes on, then you could be bona fide.
What's the latest you would add a player, Brian? Is this something that needs to happen in the next week or so?
No,
or
man.
take it all the way?
Yeah, I mean, to me, I believe that the defensive tackle room is what you're going to have to look at right now. They might look at an edge, but I think that the tackle spot is the one that they need to focus on, the 1 and the 3.
If they don't have one now, they're waiting for cut downs.
They're waiting for some cut downs, or they're going to give Mozzie and this group every shot to show that they don't know that they're not going to be good enough there, and they're going to have to figure that out with maybe somebody who they get off the waivers or they try and trade for.